All right, guys, we're live. We're live. We are live. Let's, guys, guys, can we stop? Can we stop? I'm on the stream now. Thank you. Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the chat. This stream, we're gonna ignore that it's Valentine's Day. We had a cool stream last night on Valentine's Day Eve. There's a poll on the stream right now. Let me just read it off. In your opinion, what does it take to be a top tier streamer? Also, if you just want to dump in the chat, who's your favorite streamer right now and what makes them top tier in your opinion? Um, I do want to have a little bit of a discussion. Today is my 12th day in a row streaming. The stream has definitely improved every single day. Um, I'm wearing some glasses, which is just a part of an idea of mine. Nothing to do with this stream, but they were here. They're my son's glasses. Um, yeah, I just want some feedback. I want to poll. What's up, bud? What's up? What are you trying to show me while I'm doing this? Okay, cool. So if you're here, I'm Darnell just talking. We could get started. I'll turn the music up a little bit. Maybe we can get into some vibes. Okay, that's what I like. I love when the chat somebody just says hi. What's up? Let me read the name right. Skibidi Scoop. I like that. Skibidi Scoop. 1, 2, 3. Skibidi Scoop. 1, 2, 3. Let's make a deal. What kind of deal you want to make, Skibidi Scoop? What kind of deal? How about you help me out on this poll so I can get that information from your vantage point? Today was like a big skills day for me. I know the music's too loud now. Today was like a big skills day for me. I observed a lot of skills, young people, old people, YouTubers, all across the board, talented people, and I want to talk about it. Yeah, bro got the Minecraft glasses. Yeah, maybe a little knockoff-ish, but yeah, I was working on doing a stinger, if you know what that is, and I'm trying to because I'm a small streamer, I get a lot of trolls, and I'm trying to do something especially for the trolls, and we're working on it. So it had something to do with these glasses, and I was like, oh, okay. So I'm trying to put these ideas together, but I'm not gonna be wearing them the whole stream because I could barely read with them on. You just subscribed and did the poll. Shout outs to you. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you came today, which is obviously a day of love. But yesterday we were throwing confetti around, and we're not doing that tonight because I'm still cleaning the confetti up off my desk. It was a spur of the moment. Yesterday was Friday the 13th. We did a celebration at 11:11. We made a wish together. I made my wish. A few people in the chat made their wish, but skibidi scoop. I really appreciate that. The goals are here. Who else is in the chat? I'm not even going. I'm gonna just say Rupa. I'm gonna just say Rupa. How you doing, Rupa? So I'm Darnell just talking. Most people appreciate me when I'm quiet, but I have a lot to say. I have a lot of perspective. I'm not new to YouTube. I'm kind of new to having a consistent stream and coming on here. My goal, as I keep tightening this up, my goal is to provide some sort of a balance. While you're swiping, there's a lot of different type of energy, and I bring a lot of positive energy and perspective. So when I think of topics, I want to come to you and share the topics. I do a couple different things on the stream. I play games on the stream. Probably should take some of that over to Twitch, but my son and I, we get on Rocket League and we play games, and so I'm just working on every day. Watch out for a short coming up where I kind of show from day 1 to day 10 and how much the stream has grown. This is day 2 with this I wouldn't say new camera. It's just a DSLR that I had laying around. I haven't used as much, and it was way better than a web camera, and you get some better quality footage. But things have been growing, so I appreciate that. Just take the poll. If you don't want to take the poll, that's cool. I guess the topic that I want to talk about that I'll get into very shortly is just on essentially like the levels of skill that it takes to grow this thing. So we're gonna put the algorithm and YouTube aside and all those exterior factors and the thirst trap and put all of that aside and like really just think about why you watch people and how talented they are. And if you want, I mean, I've been watching so many different channels for so long. I'm pretty sure that I could suggest to you, if whatever you like, whatever your thing is, I probably have a YouTuber that I've watched that I could definitely suggest to call out. But man, if you can shout out your favorite YouTubers in the chat, I would love to go, check them out and because I want to learn from them, whether they're a streamer or they do on-demand videos or uploads. I want to learn, how this works, not to become a super huge channel, but just giving it my all and making sure that I have the appropriate quality. And I am learning. Some of this stuff comes easy to me because I already kind of studied media in a certain way some years ago. But a lot of it is it's a little bit overwhelming when it comes to a stream. There's a lot going on. A lot of people aren't comfortable, with how they talk on camera. I'm still getting used to it. I need to do some just to. I'm noticing the lazy tongue lisp at times. I have to do some exercises that I used to do in media and script reading and all of that. But the glasses go crazy. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, my moderators here, Mick the Pick. Shout outs to you. We're talking levels. I know it's a conversation that you love. So if you could just, I know you probably already hit the poll, but I'm trying to get some favorite YouTubers. I want to shout them out and kind of maybe the people that are in the chat that want to see other YouTubers and just looking for good content or just good people to share around. If the music in the back is too low or too high, let me know. I just kind of downloaded that. It's from the YouTube library just to have something, bed level underneath my voice. But just let me know. It's day 12, man. Yeah, man, these glasses go crazy. So far, I mean, let's just read it off. So far, 4 votes. Confidence is ahead. I don't think am I allowed to vote? Let me see. No, they won't let me vote. But okay, I'll just take confidence. Is there anyone who voted? If you're still around, can you give me a one-liner as to something that gives just a defining statement as to why confidence would be ahead, or if you voted for skill? I mean, there's a lot of overlap within all four: skill, endurance, and consistency, confidence, and discipline. And you hear a lot of different things from a lot of different sources, but it's a cool conversation to have. And if you're growing a channel, also put that in the chat. I'll check your channel out. And how was your Valentine's Day, peoples? If tell me something. We don't have to be in here that long. Uh, that's a broken record from every streamer. I'm down with that record label. We don't have to be in here long, but really it's about engagement and going back and forth. So if they must send me to some more people and more people coming here, we just want that feedback. Hit the poll. Favorite YouTubers recently. I've been liking Nomad Push. Cool. He's homeless and traveled Japan on a moped raising money for a van. That's cool, man. That's cool. My favorite I guess we'll call him my favorite nomadic my favorite nomadic YouTuber. Let me find him. I know he has free in his name, and I'll tell you about mine. And he's not. Oh, he's right on my home screen. I'll put it in the chat. Year. Oh, that person must be from New York. A year in the chat means you from New York. You be what media. What's up, man? How you holding it down? It's day 12 of the stream. Sorry to hit you so late. I know you had all the love going today for Valentine's Day, but I figured we come in here, we do a little chat, talk about levels. There's a poll going on. You can shout out your favorite YouTubers. Really, I just want to know, how do people get there? Just let me know. So let me just put in the chat real quick my favorite nomadic YouTuber, and I'll tell you a little bit about him. Ah, Kev on stage. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. So make the pick. I'll go first with that. So I came across 123 Home Free. Very interesting guy. He's I wouldn't call him homeless. The earth is kind of his home. He's out in the West Coast and he's raising sheep, and he has a cart that the sheep kind of pull along, and all of his amenities are on this cart that he kind of orchestrated with a sign on the side of the cart that says like the Facebook or something. It's like, so he's really like a anti-culture kind of person when it comes to the way we live. But yeah, man, he goes around and he's eating real good. He uses a what do you call, like a sun oven. And yeah, I really love when every time I see a post of this guy, and it's just like it makes you think. And it's been years, because if it were fake, I'm pretty sure we would have debunked him already. But he's out there. I put it in the chat if you wanted to check him out. Kev on stage. Why is Kev on stage your favorite streamer? What does he do? Does it correlate to the growth of the poll of what he had to offer? Is it skill? Is it endurance? Is it confidence? Is it discipline? I mean, Kev been out there for years. You need a sun oven. Hey man, they don't cost that much. They don't cost that much. What's a sun oven? A sun oven is a oven that you're using the reflection of the sun to cook with. You do need to do it outside where the sun is. So I got my little peoples. They still hanging out. They just came back from a trip. Consistency, man. Well, that's the journey we on. Cause we don't know if we're gonna be more skilled. You be with media. We don't know if we're gonna be skilled. Discipline. I may fall off on that. But the consistency, I think that's it for me too. That's it. So today I'll just get into how I arrived here at this conversation. I went to a basketball game for my godson, and we're not gonna do the interrupt on stream, right? We're not gonna do that. Excuse me, sir. We're not okay. So I went to a basketball game for my godson, and they destroyed the other team. Like it wasn't even close. And we were me and my best friend, obviously. That's who the my godson is, the father. We were just chatting back and forth. We play sports together. We've actually coached sports together. And I take the angle when I see these like level differences. Youth sports always tell the same story, right? You got kids that are super ahead, kids that are like, I don't know why I did that on stream. Sorry guys, I just had the need to focus the camera. My bad. So you have guys that are like kids that are really ahead. You have kids that are behind. Take a flick. AAU. No, we're talking about like youth sports. I think this is probably a 9 or 10 and under. And I mean, they destroyed the other team. And yes, there are rules in place that allow for the other kids to kind of fill in the gap, like to be able to keep up with them. But the rules, they don't necessarily work as designed. So I'll give you an example. He was telling me how when they played in a more serious group like CYO, the teams they press. And my thing was like that makes me feel a type of way because teams that press at that age, we're actually losing the development of what all the new camera loading. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lens you might be familiar with, Take a Flick, since your name is Take a Flick TV. Yeah, so there's a skills that these kids need to learn a skill. That's why you send these kids into these sports, right? So how can they learn this skill when you have such an imbalance of talent? Doesn't matter if it's boys or girls sports. You usually have like really skilled players on the girls side. A skilled player on the girl side in youth sports is like a girl who just has handle, maybe a girl who has footwork, or a girl who has a killer shot. You don't really need much else because if you have handle, you breaking all the kids down. Boy sports is pretty similar, but then you got to add the roughness factor. Like some boys are just a lot rougher than others and able to get by just being rough, right? So I'm gonna get to the chat, but I just want to get this thought out real quick. I do appreciate the love in the chat, but so you 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 have teams that go against each other and everyone wants to win. So the parents are all locked in, the whole environment is locked in. This is about winning, right? Having fun and winning and competing. But the learning takes a backseat, and if you have a team of 10 kids or 12 kids and you have two teams that are playing against each other, so we have anywhere between 20 and 24 kids. Out of those 24 kids, I would probably say 25% of them are ahead. Everyone else is in the same bracket. So when you enforce things like we're going to press them so that we could beat this team by 30 points, 40 points, all the other things that this kid could learn is out the window. All the things that the team who is losing against the press is out the window. And my friend said to me, he goes, but you could teach them to break the press. So here's where, like, on paper it sounds good, but practically breaking the press is not really a thing until you get to college, because there's a lot more deeper concepts where you're never gonna have a coach. A youth coach shouldn't be somebody who could coach college the next year. That's usually not how that works. So you're gonna get a good person, a good man, somebody who could or woman, somebody who could pass a background check, but you're not necessarily going to get this highly skilled coach that can articulate how to break a press and within a short period of time develop players. So like there's always levels to things. Now let me get back in this chat. Yeah. All right, so you guys are just linking up. So tonight I my fam took a little trip, and I was trying to work on doing some catch up with the stream. Let me get my glasses back on. I was more comfortable with my glasses. Got to get my glasses. You think? Hold on, let me see if my son think my glasses look better. They don't? Okay. So I was more comfortable with the glasses on, but tonight I got on the computer and I was working. We're trying to improve the stream every day. Yesterday was an awesome stream. Mick the Pick was in the stream in the chat. We seen it's not about numbers, but there's evidence. You have to kind of pull some evidence out to how this is, how this is going. Is it improving? Last night I think we had 6 votes total, and that took maybe an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes on the stream. Tonight we have 6 votes, and we've been on the stream for 24 minutes. So it makes sense, right? You got to be able to pull these numbers out. So I'm on just YouTube on a side, computer side screen, and that's crazy. Glasses all day. Oh yeah, yeah. We gonna go glass shopping then, cause I think this will help things out. So I go on YouTube, very brief, and I find um someone streaming. It's a female content creator. Her name is B Lynn, and she is just casual streaming. She's more on the comedic side. She does some serious acting, but she's definitely like a very funny person. She is somewhat of a partner to what is his name, Lou Young. Um, Lou Young, really famous comedian on YouTube. He's not just on YouTube, but pretty famous comedian. He's the one who did like the Deion Sanders skits, the Steve Harvey skits a couple years ago, and he's definitely growing his background. I mean, he kind of already had a little bit of clout, but he didn't make it. But he was in the NFL. I think he played on some practice teams, got cut a couple times, moved around, but he used his talent, took his talent to the next level. So B Lynn is the female that works with him, and she, can you stop that, sir? Thank you. So she got on the stream, and she doesn't normally stream. So I'm like, okay, let me check the stream out. Beelan carried the stream for 5 hours. 5 hours. This girl single-handedly carried the stream for 5 hours. Beelan does not take streams serious. She doesn't know the tools. All of this stuff that I'm working on. I don't know if she was on a computer or a phone, but it felt like it was just a phone. It was in vertical. But she carried a stream for 5 hours. She sang for half of it, and Beelan doesn't sing. She doesn't know. It's fun. It's funny. That's a part of her like skits, and the chat is like going and buzzing. So it just really brought it home for me about you know how people are super talented, and most of us are far behind them. That for five now I watch, I've studied streamers for years, and they get into there's all these things that everybody, the bucket list that they want to do. They want to do a 24-hour stream, but every time I've seen somebody do that, they they're locked in with their audience, and the audience identifies and kind of knows what they're doing. And them saying I'm gonna stream for 24 hours is like, that's like a survival of the fittest, right? We're gonna see how long we could go, how long we could do this. And you're seeing this person go through all these emotions. When I got on the stream, I probably was in there in the first 20 minutes. This stream was going, it wasn't as if there was a topic. She just carried the room for 5 hours. And it really, like I said, it brought it home where I thought of youth sports, and where she's at on her level. She's not losing. She is not going to lose at this, because of she's able to just carry this. All these things that I'm working on, and granted, play to your strengths. My strength is not being Beeline, right? But I think it's an interesting perspective, to really study how these things work and how to keep people engaged. And yeah, it's a way to move forward. Um, that's all I got to say about that. Uh, Whoever's in the stream, in the chat, the poll is still open. I'm not ending the poll. Really, the topic is about like the levels of streamers, and I really want to know what it takes to be a good streamer from your perspective. So if you want to shout out your top streamer that you watch, your favorite streamer or top tier streamer in the chat, feel free to do so. You want to tell me how I could improve the stream? If you want to say anything to me, you want to say Happy Valentine's Day, drop it in the chat. Like I said, we had pretty successful stream last night. This is day 12, 12th day straight of going live. So I'm being consistent. I'm trying to improve the stream every day. That's my goal. I'm not trying to come in here and do something crazy that I can't keep up. This is just who I am. I like talking about different topics, and today we were talking about levels. So if you understand the vibe, drop something in the chat. Maybe we'll take it somewhere. I'll go off on a tangent. So I got music. I always got music in my ear. Sorry, that's what I I don't know what you bouncing to, but I'm always bouncing to something. It's been a fun year so far, man. 2026. Yeah, this like when I say that from an internet perspective, I don't know what your content type is, but I've seen a lot of dramatic storylines play out, and they don't simmer as fast as they used to, which is cool. We're definitely at that energy part of the stream where we have to figure out how to keep the energy going, keep it up, and charge forward. That's part of that's on me, and hopefully I'm able to do that at some point. I almost Mick the Pick, if you're still hanging out, we were talking about some things to improve the stream, like stingers. I rewatched a good portion of the stream yesterday, and when one of our commenters, when they almost went into troll territory, it made me think of creating a stinger for the trolls. So every time a troll's in the chat, we're gonna get a nice little stinger for them. So are the YouTube streets pretty quiet tonight? I know it's an interesting holiday, not a holiday for everyone, not something that's celebrated by everyone, but I'm just curious to know how the YouTube streets are tonight. I don't want to judge my stream or the energy of my stream. I'm trying to bring the same exact energy. Yeah, Mick the Pick. I didn't watch any of it, man. I've officially fallen off as a basketball fan. Very proud of that. Man, you made me think of something. I was maybe we'll do it for tomorrow since I kind of went. You know what? Let's do some of it now. I'll try to get some visuals going. But have you watched Unrivaled? Um, just speaking of like levels, I saw the 1v1 Unrivaled, their tournament that they throw, and man, a superb product. I know it's hard to digest for many, but it's interesting to me that the Unrivaled League, and I have my quirks with the Unrivaled League, but it's very interesting that the Unrivaled League could grab my attention on All-Star Weekend and do a 1v1 tournament that will probably never be on the men's side for very odd reasons. I don't think it gets better than that, than to see 1v1 with some of the top players that you love to watch that are super skilled on another level. We want to know who the best person is. Everything else is technically a 1v1, like your 3-point contest, slam dunk contest, right? Like, we want to know who the best is. Well, I want to know who's gonna play 1v1. Mr. UB in the chat, you might have to spell it. You might have to spell that out. I get weirded out with these acronyms, man. I'm here. I don't know if you think I'm away from the keyboard. I'm here. Yeah, I was just talking. Make the Pick had put something in the chat. As a game, I'm not a gamer, man. I just play games. You don't disrespect me or disrespect gamers. Oh, you're AFK. Yeah, I'm not a gamer. It's just like funny you said like I guess I'm a weird fan. I'm not a football fan. I'm a New York Giants fan because I don't care about the whole sport. I don't care about other teams. I just care about my team. I got my own motives. Mr. Ubiwa, I guess you're a Mr. If you could give me a suggestion, I'm sure you took the poll, which I appreciate. But if you could give me a suggestion in the chat, maybe on how you think that I can improve this stream. I've been asking that question when we reach this kind of point in the stream. Not saying it's low energy, but as far as the interactivity, I think one of the things that I'm challenged by is not knowing when people are jumping on the stream and not having like whether I'm deep in a topic or not, and if that's gonna catch people. So I have my own analysis, but if you see anything, like I said, this is a community to me, so I would love the feedback. I'm just happy to make it to day 12. I almost didn't make it, almost. I was watching that stream for 5 hours, and I ain't gonna lie, my confidence was like, I don't think, I know I'll never be as skilled as her, as B-Lin. I definitely can't shapeshift and become what B-Lin looks like, because there's definitely another portion to it. But man, 5 hours this off the cuff. I tell you what's even more interesting about those 5 hours to me. She talked about going to a thrift store, and she got a tambourine from a thrift store, and it was a kitty tambourine. I have the same exact tambourine here. It actually comes with a whole drum set. So she's playing a kitty tambourine on stream, and then she does this. Then she goes and gets the guitar, right? So she goes and gets the guitar, and she's playing one string. She's playing one string and singing. She'll like hit the guitar, like, and that's it. Then she held it up like this, and was playing, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. And I was having, I'm not gonna lie, I was having a lot of fun. It was at some point I didn't know if I was watching her or just watching the inner story behind it all to see if where it would go. You know, I really don't know, but I hung out and yeah, man, it was super cool, super cool. Well, hey, man, there's no reason if all we've done is accomplish the poll. I don't have any more than that. It's Valentine's Day, or it was. We've definitely passed midnight, which is an achievement. But we don't have to hang on. I don't want to sit here and dread this out. I don't want to share anymore if we don't have to share. I guess we're getting to the winding down portion of this. If you got some lasting shout outs, want to throw something in the chat, more than willing. I'll definitely shout them out, and we'll just do it like that. We'll pick back up tomorrow. I'll definitely have another topic. I think since this is my second weekend, obviously, I've done 12 days. I I I assumed that the weekend would be a different type of stream as far as the people who's going on the computer, but I haven't done any real research, or I don't have enough time in to really understand what that is, whether late night, whether afternoon. So I'm just filling this out and seeing how that goes. But I think the stream, we did a good job to come on. Um, I guess I'll just talk about some things that I have coming up. I am actively working on, um, hold on. I'm actively working on a more consistent show, something that is an on-demand show. It's taped and uploaded to YouTube. I'm trying to start doing some interviews. I think that the interviews would definitely help to, uh, bring more character to the diversity aspect of what I bring to the table. Um, I'm connected to a lot of different types of people with different storylines, and I really want to just show the people that, put that on YouTube. Again, to push this motive to have quality content with different types of people, a community, and we get on here and we could take a break from chasing every bad storyline that's out there or things that are around to trigger us. We have enough of that. We walk outside. Sometimes you gotta have your peace. Ashley, you made it. Oh, that I am happy about that. Asher, I told you I was gonna stream. I'm happy you made it. I was talking today. I was actually trying to wind this down a little bit and talk about some of the things that's coming up for me. But essentially, today's topic, I'll just give a pretty brief. Oh, did you? Oh, someone voted. I'm not gonna say it's you, but someone voted, and that put. We'll read off the poll, and I think I'll just give it around to explain what the topic was about. It was about like levels of talent. Happy V Day to you too. It was just about like talent levels that these levels that we climb. So if we're talking about streamers, there's certain people that are on a whole nother level. So I admire that. I feel like the only real way to learn is to really understand where you are so that you could go further. um, so I have been studying people for a long time, not knowing that I was ever going to actually stream. But yeah, I think it's a cool thing to just look at and see why some people don't know why they like who they like. Um, for me, I kind of do take the time to sit down and understand like what is happening and why am I shifted by what this person does or what they say. I was on I didn't mean to be, but I was on a stream earlier with one of my, I'm gonna dump her name in the chat because she did an awesome stream today. I was really impressed with her, and she's not she doesn't really stream like that, but she did a 5 hour stream tonight, and like I said, she carried the whole stream. It didn't make sense to me how she could be on the stream that long. That's talent. It was just talent, and I don't know if I'll ever get to that level, but that piqued my interest as to like just people that are on different levels. How was your day, Asher? You have a favorite YouTuber, streamer, content creator? You could pop that in the chat. I'll just shout them out. But basically, we were just sharing what that was. Um, I have a very diverse playlist of subscribers and just a lot of content that I've watched over the years. So I hope. Oh yeah, my day was straight. My day was straight. All right, let me pop this in the chat for you guys to check her channel out. She's a comedian. She does so much funny comedic content. Yeah, so let's just again wind this down. So I was just talking about the thing that you see on the screen. Origins is this thing that I'm trying to put together that's more of a repeatable on-demand show, and I'm working on getting an interview. I got to start with one, and we'll see where it goes from there. And I'll just take the feedback as it comes. Um, Other than that, I'm just trying to get better with the stream. If you have any suggestions, you can. I believe my email is attached to the YouTube channel. So if you go into the About page, you could actually send me an email with a suggestion. But yeah, I think there's a lot on the way, but for now, it's really just showing up. Make the pick. It's all good, man. The only thing I think you missed, I was saying that I'm trying to work on that moment when energy kind of shifts in the stream, maybe because there's not a lot of people or whatever. Something that's gonna help to sustain the thing, going on. So we are at the point where I wish I could. I guess you guys still see the poll before I end it, but it looks like confidence wins with 57%. Second is endurance / consistency, and third is skill. And out of the 7 votes, discipline doesn't have any votes. Did you play any other sports except basketball? I mean, growing up, pretty much all around athlete, you name it, I played it. Wasn't, as you get older, when you get into more serious sports, it's hard to play. It's hard to play 2 sports because the seasons don't really allow for that, or the programs don't want to risk you getting hurt while you're going out to play another sport. But yeah, I mean, I used to play baseball. Didn't play it at a college level or anything, but I played baseball. Just general, just play a lot of sports. Do you play sports, Asher? Yeah, so I guess my feedback on the poll is interesting. With all honesty, I was thinking of this as a poll question, and then I went to ChatGPT, and it helped me to kind of devise the answers. But it's pretty interesting that discipline. I think discipline does not fall under the other categories. Maybe the consistency part, but it's interesting that they got no votes. Mostly play basketball and flag football. Cool. Flag football is a thing now. I went to a friend's high school, a friend's child's high school game, uh, varsity game not too long ago. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I thought it was enjoyable. I just it's hard in the. I wish high school sports had more people depending on where you live or what sport it is. I wish there was more people coming because I just went to this huge football field. It was a turf field, and it was like no one there, and that's kind of hard. I'm a big energy person. It's like, why are we doing this? No one's here, but that's cool. I when I was talking, actually I didn't get to tell you, you weren't around, but I was talking. My initial conversation about levels involved me talking about. I went to a basketball game, a youth basketball game, like a 10 and under game this morning, and my godson and his brother, they were like they destroyed the other team pretty bad, and we were just talking about the levels of when you're in a situation like that. Usually a small group of the kids or people, they carry everyone else. um it's weird, but I am not very hard on my children when it comes to learning sports or being competitive within sports, because the impact that sports left on me, um there's some damage there, right? There's some, not from a more so from a physical side, but from a contractual side. So what you think it is, what we all think we want, we don't. When you actually get it, it might be very different. So playing for teams seriously, when you're being coached, your coach kind of has this. Um, they're in control of your destiny, essentially. I was actually telling my son earlier. He made a comment about. So I'm getting a little personal here, but so he had a game today, so I actually went to two games, and his team always wins, but they have that same imbalance where there's one kid on the team who could probably play against the whole other team, right? So sorry, I've been looking at my computer this whole time, not the camera. So there's one kid on the team that could play against the whole other team, 1 versus 5. Lie to you not, he'd be fine, probably win. So there's like this imbalance when it comes to like levels, right? And so I asked my son, because the season's winding down, and I say, do you want to be good at basketball? Because I was a little bit taken back that my best friend, he's like, we're both super competitive, but he did not take the route that I took, which is like not impose sports on him. He's very forthcoming with wanting them to be aggressive and kind of reflect the energy that we grew up with. Um, I don't know if we share the same sentiment as far as the psychological impact of sports like over time. And then the other part is having to acclimate back to society where everybody doesn't do well with that when no one's calling your name anymore, or there was a pretty if you follow basketball, there was a pretty good article that Ben Gordon, um, I believe, I don't know if he wrote it or if it was written with his words, but he talked about his decline, so to speak, after basketball, and how they were, it turned into a very difficult mental health situation, but it was really based on the attention and interaction with the people that are around him when you're making 20, you have like a $25 million contract, and then when you don't, and how that all changes, and then he starts to change and he starts to become in an untrusted relationship, and then people are no longer looking at you as that person. Your name is not being called the same. You're somewhat becoming a regular person. You're becoming just one of us, right? And that is a hard decline for somebody who spent, from a teenager on through adulthood, were successful and were the primary topic of discussion everywhere they go, right? So I ask my son, I say, so my response to that is like, I understand that I have my beliefs, and my beliefs are like, you need a balance. It's great to be competitive, but I don't need you to be a super athlete and not, have street smarts, not understand, I wouldn't say the books from an academic concept, but just be a smart person, understanding how to learn and to survive in different ways. Sports is not necessarily going to teach you survival skills. Sports teach you athletics. So I asked him, I said, and I thought about it before I asked him, because I want to ask one question. I don't want to complicate this matter. And I say to him, do you want to be good at basketball? And he says, yes. Now, I was expecting him to say, or rebuttal, I was expecting him to have a question about what that was. But me asking him that, I was also prepared for a yes, because now the ball's in my court, right? So what does that mean? That means that I have to now figure out how to transfer these skills and to show him a part of me that I've never showed him. So I say, all right, we're gonna start. We're gonna figure this out. You're gonna be good at basketball. Like, that's all it takes. You you want to be good, and then I say, I know I wanted to ask you one question, but I just need to know this, because you also play baseball. I say, do you want to be good at basketball, or if you had to choose one sport to be good at? Because here I'm thinking about, everything is about time, right? It's great to sit here and dream that I can teach him this and teach him that. I'm barely able to keep up with simple academic stuff. So I really got to program my brain around how can I offer that support. But because I know he has it in him, like as far as the heart, because he's my son, um, I could commit to that. So he says basketball again. And I'm like, you sure not baseball? And his reasoning was that he said it, not I'm paraphrasing, but he's already good at baseball. And what that translates into is he wants to work on the thing that he's the weakest at, right? Either he's gonna fit in or be really good. Right now he doesn't feel like he fits in, and it's not always fun to him. So then he says, and I'm sorry, this is a long story, and then I'm gonna read. I see a couple things in the chat, but the thing he leaves me with is, but can't we do both? When it's baseball season, we could start training baseball, and when it's basketball season, we can start training basketball. And I have my first problem to solve right there. And people don't notice. So this is advice for people who want to take sports serious. You don't get better in a season, right? What does that mean? The reason why you don't get better in a season is because your coach's job is to make the best out of what they have when your season starts, right? So your coach already put somewhat of a barrier on you if you're not the best player. Now, everyone doesn't fall under this rule. The stars, the favorites, they get to curve this rule, but the stars and the favorites are going to represent 1 out of 12 players, 2 out of 12 players. Everyone else, in the majority, this is what coach thinks that you can do, and this is what coach doesn't think that you can do. So it's your job to get better, not when the season is going, but you have to show up to the season so that when coach sees you, they place you into that mental rotation when the season starts. And I didn't learn that until I played sports more serious because I'm thinking that I'm getting better in practice. You know, when you do things like you play starters versus usually that's how it is because you're working on like maybe you're working on your plays, you're working on situational things. So you're gonna play your 1 through 5, and then the next, you know, say the B team or the second team, they're gonna be the ones playing against the starters. So I used to actually enjoy being on the second team and demolishing the first team because I knew that I was better as an individual. I knew that my team skills and my intensity, I would be able to get the second team to be able to be better than the first team in moments, in spurts, and to show coach like, wow, look at what was possible. Um, but guess what? Coach's strategy may not be defensive first. Coach's strategy may not be to attack the way that we decided to attack. You know, so you can't. I was not able to get better within the season, no matter what I did, no matter how well I played in practice, at times in games, until like there's an injury to somebody who's holding that spot, right? Something really has to go wrong for you to overcome that. So you have to show up. So your summertime, your off season, that's when you get better. That's a huge lesson. And I realized that my son needed to understand that. He was told it. I don't know if he understands it, but if I'm going to help him, that's the first way that I can help him. So we have to get prepared for spring, for baseball, and we can't wait until, you know, the first practice starts. Alright. Yeah, beating a team by lottery is nice, but I like a competition. Yeah, competition is nice no matter what it is. It's a respectable thing to you know go up against somebody and figure it out, figure out the differential. I am pretty young and athletic. Do you have any advice? Um, I'm gonna assume because you're playing flag football. Are you on the female side or the male side when it comes to sports? Because that to me would that's an important distinction when it comes to like what you should play or how you should go about it. Make the pick says that's real right there. Yeah, man. Hopefully I didn't go off too far. I usually I I could always get to where I'm trying to go, but I think that the details of how I got there are important, and hopefully, okay, you're a male. Okay, cool. I mean, if you're a male, what matters first is how the structure of where you are, where you live, and where the sports are popular, where the pipelines are. Are there pipelines that send athletes to certain schools, or are there relationships? Do you have to play AAU ball? Can you play, public school, or do you have to go to like a private school where you are in order to play? And try not to go against the grain too much with what's successful. Definitely use your summertime for camps and getting to know the local programs that are around you. I always say that there are two types of programs. There's the classy and the class list. Just because you play the sport, you definitely don't want to be in the class list programs. Um, those are the ones that, if you go to the next level and play, like let's say college, um, they may not have a setup that really helps you to academically approach, with the same intensity and competition that you should with athletics. You're a student athlete for a reason. A student athlete is a student first. In fact, athletes have higher on average GPA than the average student. It's because in order to play the sport, you have to, pass your classes, and it's, you get support. You get a lot of support with that. But if you're able to get to the next level, um, it's up to you to bring the intensity. People, you play point guard. Well, I mean, there's a lot of studying. There's there's a lot of studying that you can do. What was helpful for me, my first college coach, he would bring out a lot of film, and and I'm talking about old school VHS tapes, and he'll just give you a tape to go home with, and I'm sorry for aging myself, but that's what he had, and I happen to have a VCR because I'm from that era. But yeah, so he would give me tapes, and basically um, he would shape those tapes, not look at general basketball, but look at people that have similar skill sets as you. So like me, I'm a super great passer. It wasn't always that way. That same coach that I'm talking about, um, I'll never forget. Freshman year, I thought I had a pretty raw game. Uh, I played mainly in the inner city, so there was a certain toughness, but there was a lack of discipline for sure in my game. My skills weren't sharp, but I got by, and because I was super aggressive, like super aggressive, you're not gonna outwork me. Till this day, I'm still the same way. I got by, and I remember telling him like, man, like I'm probably the best passer on the team, and he was like, yo, you can't even pass good. And I've never been really taught to pass. It's just that some of that comes natural because you play all different types of sports. So I play, you play football. I got really good hands. I'm 6'3", so like I would think I had a receiver's build. I've always had good hands. I played all types of sports. Um, so I'm thinking like, oh man, I could pass because I get assists. And my coach taught me who determines who a good passer is or who a great passer is. And it's not the passer, it's the receiver. Because a great passer has to pass the ball the way the receiver, and I know I'm saying receiver and I'm talking about basketball, but I'm just thinking from a push and pull perspective. Uh, the receiver is who determines that. And he said, are you passing the ball to shooters that's going to make them shoot the ball right away or shoot the ball better? Are they able to find or recognize the seams of the ball when you make that pass? When he said it, I was like stuck. I didn't even know what he was talking about at the time. And I went home that summer, and I came back and I became probably the best passer on the team, and really took um, really took it attention to detail when it came to not turning the ball over and understanding what being. I was playing D3 level, so I don't even say I was oversized, but because of my team, I definitely wasn't the point guard. I was more like in a point forward kind of position. But my ability to make the right decisions, it was top tier, and my coach had to teach me that. Man, watching film is great. Yeah, Asher, to be honest with you, man, I was always like a coach playing. I was never a real player because I never played high school ball. So I was able to I just see things different, and I believe that it translates into the stream. I believe it translates into this phase. It translates into my career. There's just like a perspective thing where I sit back and I analyze things in a certain way. So I didn't. One thing about me when it came to sports is I lacked the freedom to just like be because I had a chip on my shoulder, and I just, I'm a very hard worker. So when from the first year when I wasn't called out as a starter, I navigated to look for the things that was going to make me play because if you're on the bench, what's the point, right? So I took taking care of the ball as like that equaled scoring to me. So there's this thing that I always say about what makes me different as a basketball player than most basketball players, and it's a good trait, but I could tell you where it goes wrong. Um, Most people that play basketball, whether they play pickup, they just leave their house. Most people that play basketball, they determine their experience based on whether or not they scored the ball. So you'll play pickup with guys and they'll suck the whole time. And they make one shot. And that one shot holds the value of forgetting every shot that they took. Right? Every time they messed up doesn't matter. That's what scoring does for people, right? So since we don't keep stats in those kind of games, no one's coming to them and saying, "Man, you shoot 15%." So you'll find these guys, especially in this era. I've still played ball, especially in this era with younger guys. The confidence is on an elite level. The skills, not so much. But the confidence is on the elite level. Because of the Steph Currys of the world, people shoot from everywhere. Because of the James Harden of the world, they're doing all types of skips. And I'm not going there with the travel and the gather step and all of that. But toe to toe, I'm still able to play like pretty good defense against guys that are 20 years younger than me. I have shirts that are older than some of the guys that I play with, right? Literal shirts that I go play with, and they're older than the guys that I play with. Oh, he said Darnell is the real deal, man. Definitely listen to his words. Yeah. So yeah, man. So where was I going with that? Man, I got mixed up in that. Thanks, Mr. Vic. But I think if I read the comment, it'll help me. See. So I mean, in general, you skills matter. That's kind of what this stream is about, right? Like, there's levels to everything. Oh, I know what I was saying. I was talking about people who go to play ball. They need to score. So let's call that a metric, right? So that's a metric. And it is, right? So when we watch these sports, we keep the best scorers, Gretzky in hockey, Jordan or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in basketball. Now it's LeBron James, the he's the not we'll have a show if this is a debate for you, but he is the greatest of all time based on longevity, based on what he means to the game, the respectability. He's probably the best human athlete that I would want my children to follow of all time, as far as the maturity that he had throughout his career, lack of controversy, right? Because that's a part of it. They definitely, in American sports, controversy, the sports that are huge have the most controversy. The sports that don't have that much controversy are not that huge. So my metric comes down to the intangibles, the outworking, the things that anyone can do that they don't see as important. So though I may have to do five different things to your one, um, I almost can't lose with my efficiency. And the reason why I'm programmed like that is not because I was always like that or that's the skill that I brought to the table. I fit into a gap. I fit into, in order to get minutes on the court, the things that really matter to a coach is when things matter. And I can only really speak from basketball with this because I played that more serious. But coach will tell you, what matters is give me a chance as a coach with 2 minutes left in the game to help us win the game. So whether if you play like two 20-minute halves, those first 38 minutes, coaches have limited timeouts. There's but so much that a coach can do while you're playing the game. Basketball is a sport where it's not really coach driven. You have to do and fix things on the court. And then at some point, you're going to get the screams from the side. That's the external source trying to fix things. So one of the issues that my team was having was taking care of the ball and turning the ball over. So if you want to get better, be someone who knows how to take care of the ball. Learn, if you have a team, your team have plays, learn to play from every position. I'm really good at understanding like that type of basketball. I remember I came to watch my coach after he wasn't my coach anymore, and he told me a play out loud, and I was able to do the play for his team. And his team didn't understand because they had just learned to play and it took them some time. But when you think like that, these are some of the traits. If that's what my coach like, that's going to help me get an advantage. Uh, People like coaches like to see you train. If you keep working on your game, you're putting up 500, 1,000 shots a day. If you're a shooter, if you're not a shooter, you should be shooting. You should be fixing your form. Just taking the game serious and just continuing to show that you want to get better. That goes a long way. Oh, you love my glasses? Thanks, man. I didn't know it was gonna make this stream, but it did. I'm working on I was working on a little what's called a stinger for the stream where we get some trolls that come in, they pop in and pop out. So when they pop in, Mick the Pick has been awesome, and just calling them out. We actually converted a troll. We converted a troll yesterday. He was a self-identifying troll. The first thing he said was pretty weird. You gonna tell a joke or something, and we knew like things were going the wrong way. So I'm here talking about, man, you must be in a lot of chats. You must be getting kicked out of a lot of chats. And he admitted that he goes to a lot of different streams or whatever. So weirdly, the troll turned out to actually be a person that had some good dialogue and some good feedback. We had a good conversation, but they definitely came in here as a troll. So these glasses, I guess they're like Minecraft knockoffs. Um, but these glasses they're part of something that I'm working on. So I can provide the stinger. So a stinger is just like a video that you switch to and then come back. But I wouldn't have to do much, but like press a button to kind of set that event off. So Yeah. I don't know. Saturdays are pretty chill, man. You guys got me to hold out and keep talking. I was about to shut this bad boy down like 30 minutes ago. So I appreciate you, Asher, for coming back. Uh, we did get another vote on the poll. Let's see, I'll just read it off. So we got 80% for confidence, 12% discipline, 25% endurance, and 12% skill. Is there any is there any other options that you would have voted for if it were in the poll? Like I said, I just went to ChatGPT. I kind of authored, or what I call AI enhanced, which maybe we should talk about one day. This whole concept that I wish was picked up in the world. So I fed all of that into AI, and it kind of cleaned it up and restructured it. It wasn't, I didn't just say, AI, give me a topic for today's stream. So I feel like there's a dangerous space there when you no longer want to author anything. Just like when someone's writing a book, like you don't expect the editor to be the writer. The editor edits and improves and makes suggestions, and also rejects the cleanliness of what is written. So those four topics, there might be more maybe when I think about it later. But some people are just on a top tier, man. Some people just got it. They're on a top tier. Maybe one day we could get on the top tier. I'm not throwing confetti today though. That's my only thing. I got my wife told me there's no way that I could get rid of all this confetti that I threw. So I'll give an update before I go. I think I was circling back to just talk about what's next. I have a commitment for my first interview. I'm calling it an interview. I'm not sure. It might be more free flowing than that. It's not going to be streamed. It's going to be upload. I hope that I'm able to carry the interview. The topic is not subtle. It's a very, it's likely going to be a deeper topic. I'm not pushing the interviewee in that particular direction. Obviously, the person has a unique relationship to me. It's not a random, but yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. So obviously, I'll keep talking about it on stream, but I'm trying to find the time. I think schedule wise, it's easy to say, I'm on the East Coast, so it's easy to say I'm gonna be streaming around 10:30, and I do want to I want to lock in a time at some time in the near future. I think I'll be able to lock in a time, but those other activities, they need some attention. Am I gonna try to pull off an interview once a week or once every 2 weeks? Like I need. And I'm not saying as far as the publish and posting of it, I'm talking about just getting it done. Because what I've noticed is a lot of people, they hold on to content. They're not frequent when it comes to publishing something. I think recently Club Shay Shay had he had Bing. There was when this controversy came up with Corey Holcomb, if you guys know anything about that controversy, but doesn't matter. He had a controversy in the past with another comedian, and when his recent controversy came up, Club Shay Shay obviously is a massive podcast at this point, massive channel. They were able to publish a video, an interview that they did, and that interview there was a lot of comments about Corey Holcomb, and Corey Holcomb has been in like a lot of drama, but it wasn't that drama. So Club Shay Shay got like a huge bump by being in the controversy without actually making a video of that person or about that person. Even when last year, when the whole Cat Williams interview dropped, when I heard Cat Williams tell the story, that interview did not happen like that day. You know, it happened days before. It was they, they do strategic drops, and that's not what I'm talking about. As far as finding the time, it's just more so like I don't know how long these things are gonna take. Um, Editing is I'm decent at editing, and I have all of the right like tooling, but I haven't done an interview. I don't know if, and I'll try not to be a perfectionist, but I don't want the perfectionist to trap me and hold me back from being able to, actually produce the video. But we'll see. So that's coming up. I'm pretty excited, and I'm thinking ahead. So I already my second interview. I am kind of to use a project management term, I am kind of waterfalling it. My second interview is kind of that I have planned at least. It's kind of contingent on what happens with the first interview. And then I already know about the third interview, and they have a strong overlap with the first and the second. Because for me, I'm kind of like trying to tell a story. It's hard to get the story, out, but things are moving, man. Just to shout out, I know someone earlier said they subbed, so I think we're doing okay. I'll just check real quick if there was any traction today. But I like the way things are going. Yeah, it looks like I did get a subscriber. Cool. That was one of the things, and then I'm actually on my side. I see 96 total views, so I think I could stay on here for a couple more minutes and likely it'll hit 100. But that's one of the things that was troublesome for me. I don't want to say my first go round with YouTube, but when I was posting videos, I was mostly in one lane. It wasn't this lane. It wasn't go put on some glasses, figure out how to get on here and just talk up a storm. It wasn't that. But at the same time, there was still a lot of effort that was involved, and that effort it didn't really go where I think I wanted or needed it to go. The effort would it would okay, the effort would turn into nothing in return. Um, and you see it from a lot of YouTubers and people are, it sounds like they're begging. I grew up in New York City, so I'm used to hearing like, begging for people you don't know from a hole in the wall. So it's begging, man, like it, please. I need you to like and subscribe. I need this. Um, to each his own, right? I think at the end of the day, everyone's here for similar reasons, but we're all here for different reasons at the same time. I don't need to grow a super duper channel, but if I'm gonna come on here for an hour, it's going on an hour and 30 minutes. What is the exchange? Eventually, I think it's inevitable that people get monetized and you'll get a little bit of currency for the stream, but I think a bigger payoff is growing a community of people and seeing people and becoming a part of each other's situations. When I grew up, this wasn't available, so to speak, and it was a one-way deal where I would watch TV. We had AOL, but that wasn't what the intent wasn't to house a repository of people that came on here and pledged to you and kind of replace that type of content that you would watch, and it'd be more real, so that's where I kind of see this at. And everyone needs you're only here, just like all the friendships you have. You break down your friendship, it's a give and take, right? So I give a lot. People on here, they come on here, hopefully they give enough and they want to receive stuff. So I know my goals, like, I've had the thing up saying before, like what my sub goal is. My sub goal is 150, but that really only is that because a certain percentage of that would likely, get feedback when I post, and that number I think would give me a cushion to be able to carry like these experiences in this stream. Maybe there's topics that I bring up where that same user group, the same reason why they subscribe to me in the first place, maybe we have some topics like Asher. If you're still hanging out, Asher, you're obviously interested in sports, you play sports. I know that. And I could tell you today, I was thinking about, I have a Discord server that I wanted to start a couple years ago. Let me just get the right name so I don't tease something. It's called the Sports Dilemma. And so I have this concept that I'll probably end up piloting, and this I won't do myself because I think I definitely want to do some sort of a panel. Maybe you want to join, the panel. But the Sports Dilemma, for better or for worse, was more so a niche in the media, um, sports media niche, where we're discussing more of the dilemmas that exist within sports, more long-term, long-form conversations that kind of get glazed over when, if that's the right word, but our daily sports news cycle, things happen so fast, and then you move on to the next, and then you move on to the like can you imagine that last week was the Super Bowl, this week is All-Star weekend. So if you are a fan of the NFL and the NBA, even if you're a company that's trying to advertise, your these are like two of the biggest events for the top two most popular sports in America. Just speaking to America, and you have to do a turnaround to be able to get these ads published and capture, this audience. But from a sports fan perspective, and it's rightfully so, it's not odd to like basketball and baseball. You just went from the biggest sports, I would say the biggest event, to probably a top four event 1 week later, right? So there's a lot of like competition for that, and I think the Sports Dilemma was taking a different approach where we look at the dilemmas. Well, what are the dilemmas? So I'll read a few off. Hopefully you're with me, Asher, because this is really for you, just to tell you that I do want to pilot some stuff on this channel. Maybe it'll become its own thing because the whole audience doesn't really fit it, but that's the type of creativity. And look, we reached 100 views, just like I said. Talk for 2 minutes, they listen to me. All right, so let's find some of the coolest. So we have, I'm not saying that one, and I'm not saying that one. Yeah, some of these are like very controversial. So we have the women's basketball dilemma, which I'm sure you're very aware of. Um, Not that I'm going to have or be super opinionated about it, but if you look in years past on the internet, there is a lot of negative energy that's driven towards women's sports, women's basketball. And we have a dilemma with it, right? One of the biggest dilemmas with women's basketball is monetizing it. And I don't think people would do enough calling out why this isn't monetized. And the arguments that are out there, like, oh, raise the rim, or those, none of that makes sense, and it's not actually the problem, right? So the true dilemma within that, I would like to discuss, and we move on like that. So that's one. But this whole concept, the sports dilemma, is taking sports media from to a different angle, where it's really just about the dilemma, these long term dilemmas. Like, we have a dilemma in the NBA. I'm sure we watch NBA. Um, you have a problem with the amount of 3-point shots and how the rule changes have impacted the game, in a way to where you have different fan groups, like the older people, that almost see this as comical and unwatchable. Just about every day, I get a short video with a massive like travel where a guy's taking 5 steps. Not to say that that didn't happen when I was growing up ever, but in general terms, it didn't. That was a hard thing to happen. But with this gather step, and I don't know how many more reps could you have, but that's like the idea of what a sports dilemma is. So I will be working on that. I actually thought about it today, and but when I frame these things out, as the community starts to grow, my community, our community, as it starts to grow, I need that support, that back and forth support, to be able to pull some of these things off, because it's not something like that for me. It's not about the guy with the weird glasses go sit on a stream and tell people what you think. It's really about perspective from different points of views, so that we can actually grow, and get somewhere, and more people could provide to that perspective. So again, so that we grow. So that's the women's basketball dilemma. Then in here, I also have um, the NIL dilemma. A lot of people, we just take it for what it is. The NIL and how it functions today is pretty new, but because I think we solve something, or we assume that we solve something, um, there isn't much discussion over the structure of it, even though that structure is evolving. I don't know the exact rule, but I remember watching, I think his name is Coach Rob. He has a track channel. Um, Let me just find his channel. I really don't like calling out people's channels without showing their stuff. Give me 1 second. I think his name is. They put it in alphabetical order. There you go, Coach Rob Track. Cool. So I'll just dump that in the chat. Um, SCA Track and Field, but the name when you go to his channel is Coach Rob Track. He was talking about how some of the track programs, because of the NIL's updated rules, will cease to exist, because apparently I think a lot of schools, so the way track works, track is one of those events that a lot of people don't go to, unless it's like the big, I don't know, track and field events. Track as a whole has its issues, right? So track has its own dilemma, the track and field dilemma. Um, but college or collegiate track, I think the latest update or addendum to the NIL revolves around schools not having to share a certain amount of profits, and essentially I'll rewatch it to kind of sharpen this up. What I got from it, this was like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, so I'm just like off the cuff. What I got from it was a lot of money is gonna go to football in most of these schools because that's the sport that's generating the money. So when that money, that profit goes to football, and at the same time schools are not forced to carry on programs because of like Title IX reasons, there are some sports that just like the WNBA, who there's a lot of money that goes out the door because you have to uphold, being able to support the travel, hosting teams. There's just a lot of money that goes into those sports. So a school's going to look at it and say, well, this sport doesn't generate any profit. And now we're not making that profit because of the NIL. It used to be that those schools were able to keep all of that profit. Now they're not. So some schools, there is going to be no need to hold on to certain sports, and it doesn't make sense. Coach Rob was explaining how the way track is structured, it's not like you can go to any school if you're like a track star. There's the elites, and then there's like everyone else. Again, circling back to levels, right? That was what tonight's conversation was about. But yeah, so if that happens, the way Coach Rob detailed, track, I mean, eventually may not even be a collegiate thing because what happens when you don't have anyone in your conference to go against? What happens, right? You become a club sport. You're no longer going to be like a sanctioned NCAA sport. So it's pretty sad, and that to me is you don't hear about that stuff because we're waiting for the next drama. We're waiting to hear about the next Shador and how much money they make and all of that. But there's a whole conversation around the NIL. So I've been working on that concept. That one pretty slowly working on it. But I think the fact that I'm out here and I'm on stream, I think it'll help me to bring some of these things together and get more organized and better at that. Um, all right, so I'll get a last go round. Okay, the poll hasn't changed, so we'll just end the poll. Confidence is the winner. So I have to acknowledge that I'm gonna be more confident if I'm gonna get better. Um, that has to be the thing. I think today's poll. Thank you so much. I don't want to clap too loud in the mic, but yeah, I mean the energy was here. We had the chat going. Moderator did the job they had to do. I guess a special shout out to Asher. Asher came in late. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but definitely asked when the next time. No, actually, sorry, it was in a comment. And I don't know if I told you, Asher. Dina Asher Smith is why when you came in the chat, she's a track star. That's what kind of triggered me about why I like the name Asher. But special shout out to Mick the Pick, the number one mod. I actually give a shout out to a new subscriber, Skibidi B Scoop 123. Came in pretty early. Hopefully, he was able to subscribe and stay a subscriber. Um, but yeah, that's all, man. If you didn't like the bed level music, let me know somehow, some way. We're working on the stream. I think this camera works, but I don't like where it's at, so I'm working on getting a very inexpensive mount to go on the wall, so you'll get more of a frontal view like we had before. Excuse me. Sorry, I just had to cough and I muted it. Look at that. I'm getting better already, guys. I didn't cough in your ear. So yeah, let's call it a night. Thanks for letting me learn from you guys again. It was a great conversation. It was about levels. It's a conversation we'll definitely have again. It's always great to call out, like, different levels, and this is not levels just based on sport. When you see somebody that is like super skilled, um, obviously some things come natural to some people. Like it's really hard for me to think that LeBron James wasn't always going to be LeBron James. It seems like destiny, so to speak. But skills matter, and when you start breaking down these levels, it's good to know where you are, because I don't think you know where you can go unless you identify the difference. So I just wanted to leave you with that thought. We're still working on how we close the show. I got a cool suggestion last night, so maybe we'll see that pretty soon. Well, that was tonight's stream. We are on day 12. We did it the right way, and I don't know, 13. Some people think it's a unlucky number, but we'll fight that fight. You guys have a good night. Hope you enjoyed your Valentine's Day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.